Gentlemen, good to see you both. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Congratulations on the film. Andy, I do want to kind of ask because I'm a filmmaker as well. So I find it's a very interesting kind of process of, you get the scripts, you do all the prep you can, then you get there, right? You start filming
Yeah.
this movie. What was that like for you specifically, actually starting the production?
I think it was pretty kind of seamless, and I'll tell you why. I'm a big fan of prep, so I went out to Houston 6 months before we started shooting and walked around with Jack, one of the producers, found a load of locations. So we were very dialed in on where we wanted to shoot it mainly. I mean, it took a minute to find Joel's apartment. That was a thing, but it was so I kind of went and the team, the crew. I must give props to the crew because I've worked with all of them before. The cameraman Eric and Michelle and Katie, the our AD, all these people I know, and so it was made very. It was like slipping into kind of the warm waters of the Caribbean rather than the icy Atlantic. It was okay. It was
No,
okay.
absolutely. No, well said. Indie film, it's all hands on deck. Like literally what it is. And
Yeah,
yeah, and Joel, good to see you, man. And I did kind of want to ask, it's interesting. I'm watching this film and it's funny, it's very charming, and I'm laughing a lot, but it's got a lot of heart and it's got a lot of like it's real. Like there's a lot of serious undertones. And I'm just wondering from an acting storytelling perspective, have you always seen comedy with a serious undertone, with that soul-searching self-reflection component? Because I find that very interesting.
So yeah, there's fun comedies to watch like Dumb and Dumber and you know, uh, so many others that are escaping my mind, like Zoolander. Like they live in this
Yeah.
yeah,
big
yeah,
world of
yeah.
comedy,
Yeah, for me, it's like
but
Napoleon Dynamite's one for me. That like,
Napoleon
yeah,
Dynamite. Exactly, exactly right. So you've got these comedies that live in this big world, but ours lives in the real world. We've got real
Mhm.
characters. They're going through real problems. They are very nuanced. They're really experiencing life in the moment, and they're taking every single day one day at a time. And so, I love comedy that has a grounding to it, a heart to it, and not necessarily just people you're going to laugh at, but people that you're going to empathize and like even possibly cry with,
Yeah,
as well as kind of like laugh at a funny situation. And I,
Yeah.
I think those are the comedies that I connect most to, I would
absolutely.
say.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. And Andy, given what Joel just said about the real, right? This is like it feels very real. I'm wondering because it depends on the production and the style and everything. Conversations always interest me. The conversations you were having with Joel and Bailee about characters and stuff. When did those happen a lot for this film? Are they happening like before you go to camera? Are they happening during production? Like what was that like the conversations with your actors?
Oh, it's a good question. I mean, we would talk before the shoot, on the phone and Zooms and stuff. But really, I remember we Joel and Bailey got into town a few days before, and we would hang out at Joel's, hotel room, and we'd go through the script and we'd read it and we'd beat it up and we'd slash it to pieces, and we just kind of. I love those moments so much because I'm such a fan of actors
Hmm.
that it's a bit silly. I should be over it by now. I've worked with a few, but I think they're flipping not musicians. I think they are musicians, but they're magicians. And so being in the room with Joel and Bailey and we're workshopping it, like I'm literally here and these two are here, and it's coming off the page because you can do a lot of script work before you get to production, but the real script work is rehearsal and line readings, and then everything leaps out as what needs to be fixed and changed, and what is brilliant and what you need to save. It suddenly becomes a very, very tangible piece of clay, and you can see the sharp edges and the smoothness. So that was, and the same goes with Annie. We had couple of hours in the
Yeah.
morning to work with Annie,
Hmm.
and she's just a laser of character clarity, comedy clarity. So that's it. I think that on indie movies, you don't really get a week of rehearsal.
No,
That just doesn't happen. So you take what you can, but it's such a joyful experience.
absolutely.
If you're not dodging landmines and the script sucks suddenly, but we didn't have that.
I just find it funny how your answers are perfect segues to my next questions. You know what I mean? It's almost like you knew what I was going to ask. You're both professionals. This is amazing. Because Joel, because I'm curious, because it's all like different worlds, different projects, right? And different characters, but it is all storytelling at the end of the day. So for you, Joel, I'm just wondering how separate are past projects compared to something like 40 Dates and 40 Nights? Like, do you bring mindsets or preparations from the Kissing Booth, Super 8, Jesus Revolution to something like this? Or are they completely separate once you wrap them?
It's every film is its own film, but I have a process that I have developed through classes in LA. I went and did classes at Stuart Rogers Studios in North Hollywood for 4 or 5 years, something like that in LA.
Mhm.
And so I have a process, and it has benefited me greatly in storytelling,
Mhm.
understanding characters, understanding stories. And every film is its own, but I'm always me coming towards it. And so I think it's really important for me to be authentic. I think it's really important for me to kind of disappear into the characters and allow the characters to really like take take hold, take place, and live freely.
Yeah.
And so, a super collaborative set is the best case scenario. And I think, Andy, I've told you this. Like, this has been one of the most collaborative films I think I've ever worked on. And I just had an absolute blast getting to discover who Mason is and how much he cares for Leah, and really like moving the story forward. It was a blast.
Well, follow-up question for you, Joel, and then Andy, I'd love you to chime in again from the character perspective. But was it more fun or more challenging to play these kind of lost characters, these self-reflected characters? Because from the viewer perspective, they don't know they're lost. So I always find that fascinating, playing these kind of like that coming of age kind of component, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say it's a bit of both. There's, a certain amount of care that you're gonna have, but at the same time, like you need to be ready to fail, and just like kind of shoot for the stars,
Mhm.
and really like go for it. But at the same time, like we were saying earlier, these are very real people.
Yeah.
The way that you're gonna say something you're embarrassed about is not gonna be just like, let me lay this out here, but kind of like soft sell this a little bit, like more like kind of get into it and kind of explain what's going on and why I did what I did and yikes and like how is she going to take this, that kind of thing. So it's just so much fun playing a character with so much heart, and yeah, I just had a great time.
Absolutely. But Andy, to kind of add to that a little bit too, like you said, like we don't have a lot of time for rehearsal. It's kind of
Yeah,
like all in for these movies, right? Like
yeah.
it can be very kind of like daunting sometimes to see all this complexity that you have to go film for like 12, 15 days, right? Like from a self-reflection perspective.
Yeah, I mean it is, but it's one step at a time.
Yeah.
So the best thing is, we have the most astonishing AD, a woman called Katie Tull, who just scheduled it so immaculately. We had amazing technical team, grip and electric and camera. So those guys are just working behind the scenes to make it, as stress free as possible,
Mhm.
and then me and the actors and Howie the writer can really focus on the nuance. And as I say, Joel's point is like, I think he's mentioned, it's important to know where you are in the story,
Yep.
and it's important to not give. I think when people can say things and mean something else, I'm always interested in the truth being more not what you say, but how you say it, or it's the opposite of what you mean, or there's so many ways to keep things just on that edge. And I certainly think with Leah, Bailey's character, she is covering a lot of time.
Yep.
She's not owning up to who she is. She's got people trying to tell her to be straight there about things. She's got a grandma and she's got a best friend. So she's a wonderfully complex character. Joel's character has got real depths that he's not apparently stressing and messy and at all. But and I think in this scene, this couch scene that is kind of pivotal, you get a sense that this guy feels things very deeply, and that was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. So well said. And I can't wait for people to see 40 Dates and 40 Nights. Congratulations to you both. Thank you both so much for your time. It was great chatting with you both. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.